Hi, I promised to update within the next 24 hours or so what happened in court with the minor child that was beaten by Jesse Brown and Russell McNeil, and what the public defender said to the child and the mother when he took them into a room, Rusty Barrett. I will tell you about Ben Cowan, the prosecutor, Mr. Judge Lucas Taylor, and I will also discuss with you my conversation that I had with State Attorney, Larry Bassford. I'll also update you guys here soon about the report I had asked for from the Bonifay Police Department in regards to the African American man with special needs that was shot to death in Highway 90 in Bonifay. The former now chief that I spoke to that day has been resigned or terminated there because there again is a lot of stuff going on in Holmes County. This wasn't able to be covered up just yet. Whether or not there's going to be some backroom deals and they try to make it to where the victim of that case of why the PD is like they are, to make him shut up, go away, whatever. Who knows? But that ain't something I'm dealing with right now, because right now I'm trying to get justice for these children, and yes, children in Holmes County who are being abused by teachers' aides and school resource officers. It's a lot of that going on. So that's my priority right now, especially with the number of people coming forward with new allegations or allegations that's already been reported and nothing was done. And so out of the 4 that have contacted me over this past weekend, 3 want to remain anonymous. So the one I'm going to talk about today, we're going to call her Alice, and her special needs son, Eli. Okay? So, yeah. Let me just update you guys on some new things that's come my way. Alright, so, wow. Some of this is going to be directly from what Alice sent me. I can send you part of her message or some of her messages to correspond with what I'm saying, so that you can see that what she is saying is what she's saying. It's not just on my notepad. I also would like to tell you guys, look, I am just a mom with a cheap cell phone that turned my camera on and started asking questions. Because when I seen what happened to that child, I reached out to that mother's friend and said, hey, have that mom contact me and let's see what we can do. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm stumbling my way through doing what I think is right. And with all these other victims coming forward, and it's the same key players in the school, in the sheriff's department, in the police department, it's the same people over and over, and in the 14th Judicial Circuit that are corrupt. Yes, I said it. It's the same people over and over and over, and here soon I will show you the family tree of just how these little organizations there in Holmes County alone is operating. So we're going to talk about Alice and Eli. Now, again, she contacted me on my personal social media page. She messaged me on there, and so here's what she had to say. I want to make sure I'm doing this right for you guys, so here we go. March and April of 2019 is when the abuse for her special needs son, Eli, began. Guess who was abusing her son at Ponce de Leon Elementary? One guess. Jesse Brown. Alright. Alice told me that her son, Eli, attended Ponce de Leon Elementary 3 years ago. She told me she ended up having to contact the Department of Children and Families and file a bullying report. And here's how it goes. Jesse also done some things to my son. He pulled him and dragged him by his ears. Jesse taunted him, would go out of his way and force my son to talk to him. Once I reported it to DCF, they didn't do crap, and neither did the school. Jesse Brown did get written up for talking about my son being an ISS in front of inmates while he was working at the Holmes County Jail. So, do you remember when I brought to you guys that a correctional officer had went into the cell of the young man that was detained for getting the hell beat out of him by this man? That correctional officer went inside that cell and intimidated that child. And, of course, I also showed y'all that Sheriff John Tate isn't releasing any video. So, I mean, he's going to have to do that pretty soon, pending federal legal situations. So eventually that's going to come to the light if they even still have the video, or did it go poof? Like anytime they're in bad light, the video goes missing, or the body cam was never on. So anyway, this mother goes on, Alice goes on to say that he did get written up, supposedly about having talked about her son in front of inmates at the jail where he was working also. She's told me that should still be on file with the school or possibly with the jail. The school promised the mother, Alice, that her son would not be alone or around Jesse Brown, which turned out to be a lie, because they moved him into being a physical education assistant there at Ponce de Leon Elementary. And of course, listen to what he did here. He continued to taunt the child and abuse him. Jesse would make my son Eli put his entire face, forehead, and chin into the dirt at PE. It was the last year that Miss Locke was principal at PDLE. Jesse did not leave marks on Eli, but my son had sore ears and they were red from where he had dragged him. When Eli was in ISS that week, Jesse would have him write sentences. He would walk up to my son's desk, take the paper, wad it up, throw it in the trash, and yell at him. Redo them now. The schools just keep allowing Jesse to abuse our kids and get away with it. The school board never would contact me after I tried to complain. I did file a bullying report with DCF online, but Jesse's wife was working for the Department of Children and Families, and nothing was done. I believe that she may be working for a neighboring county now, but the case never got handled. She said, "Ma'am, I also know that Jesse's grandpa was a judge here in Holmes County. He passed away, but in my gut, I believe he rides away scot-free of what he does because of who he is related to in this county." She said, Alice told me that her son is now that he's older. And I don't know she didn't clarify any of this with me, but I'm not sure if it's because of the special needs that he has, and some emotional issues that he's had since he was a small child that Holmes County schools have been aware of. So I thought they implemented in all Florida schools or schools throughout the nation, I'm not sure, implemented safety measures and understanding each child's individual needs so that they can obtain an education safely. Not so sure that's being handled accordingly over in Holmes County. Doesn't seem like it is. So anyway, her fear is that he has to go to Gap School next year. She said that she knew that Jesse Brown now works at the Gap School. And here's what she had to say, her quote from the message she sent me on my private social media account. "It's scary, girl. No one wants a target on them. And the Holmes County Sheriff's Office will do just that. they will target you if you piss them off just right. And that's true so far. Now, school resource officer Adrienne Odom is the worst. Now, this is a quote from her. Now, she now is Adrienne Wimberly. And if you remember, she is also the sister to Major Michael Rayleigh at the Holmes County Sheriff's Office. Miss Wimberly is over the school resource officers there. Each complaint or alleged allegation that I have received over this past weekend alone named this woman, Adrienne Rayleigh Wimberly now. Sometimes you'll hear her referred to as Adrienne Odom. Having been a problem, having been lying, having deceived parents. My son is forced to go to the Gap, and it really does scare me. My fear is, what is Jesse going to be allowed to do to him there? What if he chokes and slams Eli? I've seen what he did to a kid here recently at the Gap. It's so freaking scary. Nobody wants to be targeted by these people. I don't even know how, at this point, if more people aren't willing to take that chance and visually and physically be present and speaking out on what's happened to you or your children, how anything is going to change. I will say this, and I am very sorry that these families and these children are going through these things, because I can speak firsthand on how they operate there. What last year, in the 5 weeks, I was only there in Bonifay 5 weeks, and day one there is when what happened to my children and I. So I understand. I really do. And I can't be the only one having the courage to come forward. These are your children too. You have to come forward and you have to say something. I can't stand alone and do this. Although at this time, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing what my conscience is telling me to do. And there's so much more going on. And as far as, I will be popping up in Holmes County very soon for some things that tie into my first video I ever uploaded, which was the interview with the child and the child's mother. So I'll be obtaining some information finally on some things with that. But I want to address Mr. John Tate, Sheriff of Holmes County, Florida. It's apparent to me that there are so many victims coming forward alleging that your school resource officers, your deputies, and those in higher chains of command are deceiving and lying and bullying and abusing the children and families there in your community. I don't know what you expected when you signed up to be sheriff. I thought maybe you thought that it was just going to be kosher and that you had this all under control, but sir, it doesn't appear that you do. It doesn't matter who you break bread with and who's your friends. You don't give favors to these people. You do your job. You investigate these people. Investigate what these people are saying. And if no wrongdoing was in any way in your department by your people, then I'll be the first to say it. But you're not investigating it. You're not looking into it. You're ignoring it. You are being Switzerland. You need to stop. You need to stop and think, what if it was your son? What if it was one of your sons? None of this would have happened this way. And you and I both know it. You're making yourself and your department look guilty by not saying anything, by not investigating, by allowing your friend and second in command to be given a case knowing knowing that his granddaughter was dating the child's older brother. You knew this. But why are y'all protecting Jesse Brown? Why? This is an ongoing pattern, and he works for you, Mr. Tate, at your jail. You know, it just seems that corruption is always worse than the actual crime. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. So, with that, I'm going to be trying to get some of these people to come out and speak. I've been working a few weeks now on gathering a rally of people in the community that isn't afraid, and it's sadly just a handful that's willing to go down and to be targeted. There's another family. I'm going to refer them as Family B for right now. Family B is afraid to speak out because of her husband being African American, her children going to those schools in Holmes County, and what they are capable of doing, because there's a particular deputy there that does not like her husband. Even though the man has turned his life around and he's been an A1 model citizen with a successful job, raising his family, she's afraid. So I have her story too. All that I'm asking is that parents, if this has happened to your children, whether it was Jesse Brown, Russell McNeil, whoever, you've got to speak up, because it's going to continue. Mr. Tate, again, I'm going to challenge you to do the right thing and stop being Switzerland. Start investigating these allegations coming from these families about their children. So, anyway, I will be updating you guys as soon as I can on everything else. I just wanted to get Alice and Eli's story out there to you and let you decide, you know, what advice do I need to give them or give the mom to come forward and not be afraid. Go ahead and speak, because her son is at risk for more abuse attending that gap school where Mr. Jesse Brown is working currently. And it seems like anytime he does something wrong, they just move him to another school, and the pattern continues. Also, I'll let you know, let me look at it real quick so you guys will have it if you want to do anything with it. That's on you. The superintendent of the schools in Holmes County, Florida is Buddy Brown. The number I have for that is area code 850-547-9341. Currently, the principal at the Gap School is Ron Dixon. The number I have for that is 850-547-0470. The principal of the high school in Holmes County, Lawrence Pender. The number there may be 850-547-9000. There are two principals at the K-8 of Bonifay. The first one is Miss Tiffany Stevenson, K through 4th grade. Miss Shay Bowers, she's the principal for 5th through 8th grade. That number is 850-547-3631. Now, if anyone's interested in, good luck trying to talk to Mr. Tate, but you may be lucky to get someone to talk to, but the number for them is 850-547-4421. And that's the Holmes County Sheriff's Office, to attempt to ask Mr. Tate when is he going to investigate all these allegations coming forward. I have report after report after report just over the weekend alone. Miss Alice is going to submit to me everything that the starting of all this in 2019, and it's occurred ongoing since. She's going to be submitting that stuff to me, so I will be glad to show it to you when that gets to me. Again, I'm going to challenge you, Mr. Tate, to investigate. I'll see you guys next time, and y'all stay safe.